If Monster Hunter monsters were real, how many Monster Hunter monsters could I beat in a fight? Well, certainly not that one. This video is inspired by this funny tweet I saw a while back from @Monoshot. Assumptions. Monster Hunter the video game is a video game, so the monsters can take multiple sword swings and explosions to the face and be totally unfazed. It would not make for a very fun game if at the start of the quest you ran up, chopped the monster's head off and called it a day. So if you could hit a monster in the face in real life, it would react to that. However, Monster Hunter monsters don't really dodge or block, they just attack. So we'll assume similar attack patterns, movement, and AI, but defense comparable to real-world similar type animals. For example, a lizard monster has a high durability of a crocodile. I won't be doing any power scale analysis of the monsters. This ain't Death Battle. This ain't an episode of Game Theory. This is based off of vibes. And we're only going for a chance of victory, not a guarantee. Not to get bogged down in math, but in statistics, depending on your t-value, a 5% difference could be considered statistically significant. There are so many factors to consider of how these types of fights could go, so for this video, we'll assume a 20% chance of victory or greater. But before we can get into which monsters I'm gonna knock out, we gotta give a quick shout out to a knockout game, and today's sponsor, Kaku Ancient Seal. Now Kaku Ancient Seal is an open world action-adventure indie game where you play as Kaku and go on a sprawling adventure with over 30 hours of gameplay, where you'll be diving into ancient ruins, solving big brain puzzles, and fighting cool bosses, all in an attempt to restore balance to the world. What immediately stands out to me is the prehistory inspired art style with all sorts of cool outfits you can wear. I will wear some of these to the club in real life. Plus, you got 3 weapons to choose from: Stone Blade, Arm Blade, your trusty Slingshot. Hell yeah! And you'll be upgrading them during the game, and on top of that, you can upgrade your gear with new abilities via the Rune Stones. You wanna freeze a guy? There's a Rune Stone for that. Now I know what you may be thinking, Spaceman, do I get to explore the world with a little animal buddy with cool world traversal abilities? What did it take me for? Come on! Of course you got your little buddy Piggy. It would not be an adventure without Piggy. Be for real right now. Look, if you're watching my videos, I know you got good taste. After 8 years of development and numerous upgrades from its early access phase, Kaku Ancient Seal is officially available now, right now, on Steam, where it is currently rated very positive. And pro tip, there's a 25% launch discount. With a deal like that, you can get a fun game and take your girl somewhere nice. You can check out Kaku Ancient Seal using the link in the description, and thanks again to Kaku Ancient Seal for sponsoring today's video. My physical capabilities. You ever walk through Disneyland? The average human is an out-of-shape piece of garbage, but fortunately for me, I am not an average human being. I'm better! I am better! So thinking in terms of like a Dungeons and Dragons stat block, where each stat is at a 20, 10 is the average, so for strength I'd give myself a 12. Physically, I'm what's known as the rare Sigma male body type known as a skinny legend, where it doesn't matter how much I lift or work out, I'm gonna look like sideways Paper Mario. It's both a blessing and a curse. My max bench press ever was 235 pounds, my pull-up record was 30 in a row, but that was also like 10 years ago and I haven't lifted much since. Dexterity of 18. I run marathons, so you know endurance is not going to be an issue. I do have years of martial arts training, and while I don't know how much roundhouse kicking Gormagala is going to make a difference, between that and my thousands of hours of playing Splatoon, I have absolute godlike reflexes, like holy shit dude, and that high perception and reaction time will help dodge attacks. Constitution, which is like, you know, health and survivability, I'd give that an 11. I have an average human body in terms of durability, and I don't think I could take more than 1 or 2 direct hits and keep fighting. I have asthma, so you know endurance is gonna be an issue. I also react to pain. I don't go tumbling away like in the game and hop back up. If I get hit once, I'll have to like, you know, yell and stuff. Not to mention my huge vulnerability spot in the middle of my body, just huge, just so enormous. It's like a final boss weak spot. My life is so hard. And health potions do not exist outside of the game, except for maybe Red Bull or cocaine. So I'm basically doing a naked, no damage, 1 life run against each of these monsters. For your mental stats, intelligence is like book smarts. I have a college degree, so compared to the characters of Monster Hunter, that's a 20. Wisdom is more like street smarts, but nature smarts, and I have thousands of hours of Monster Hunter experience, which will help knowing the monster's moves, so wisdom like 17. And charisma, I mean, y'all have seen my videos, so out of a possible 20, I'll of course give myself a 30. Not that it's going to be relevant unless I intend to seduce the monsters. Armor class, which is how easy it is to hit you. I'm adding Dex plus wisdom bonus like you do for the monk class, and just knowledge of Monster Hunter monsters will help me dodge the attacks. So 15. And for HP, I don't know, longsword does 1d8 of damage. I don't think a regular human body could survive more than 2 or 3 max damage hits, so 20 points. There's no armor skills available in real life, so I won't have no critical eye, won't have no weakness exploit. I mean, really, no special skills in general outside of maybe adrenaline from your fight or flight response. Well, I guess there is Black Man's Fury, which gives you a 20% buff to all physical stats for the next 3 minutes, but not many people know about that one. We're also going to assume I'm not fighting them on the winter solstice, or else I'd easily win against all of them. You know, I want to give the monsters a chance. And I'm fighting solo here. While I do have my own real-life Palamute, I feel like he'd be more of a liability. He's simply too dumb and too nice to large animals. It would be like a reverse Fire Emblem recruitment, where he would befriend the monsters and start fighting me instead. Let's look at the roster of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, since at the time of writing it's the most recent game, and its rogues gallery covers most of the popular monsters from all previous Monhun games, for the most part. So with all my stats laid out, how many monsters do I think I could beat in real life in a one-on-one fight? Not that many, it turns out. I made a couple tiers, so we'll get the highest tier out of the way first. Absolutely 0 chance of success. All the Elder Dragons plus Gormagala. Like, come on, they're all big-ass dragons. I'm a human man. Amatsu can summon tornadoes, and Ibushi can summon tornadoes, and Kushala can summon tornadoes. What am I gonna do against those? All the Risen monsters, which are Elder Dragons already, but even more powerful. No thank you. All the Apex monsters. Remember those from the rampages? Yeah, me neither, but I could not beat them. Flying monsters with powerful ranged attacks. Like, yeah, they eventually land so you can hit them, but if Silver Rathalos was real, he'd do a flyby flamethrower attack like it's Game of Thrones, and that would be the end of it. Electric monsters. I'm not an electrician. I don't know a lot about electricity. I do not know how to calculate the voltage based on the size of these thunderbolts, but I do know that humans are 70% water, and the electric chair is a way to execute them. I ain't fucking Zuko. I ain't hunting for the Avatar to restore my honor. I ain't about to redirect that shit. I'm gonna assume that one hit will kill me. Fire, water, and ice attacks, you could maybe survive, but electric? No way. And I don't know what dragon element is, but I do know that magic must defeat magic, but most dragon element monsters are elder dragons anyways. And then there's monsters that are just too difficult, or too fast, or a big bouncy Super Saiyan monkey, and I would simply lose and die immediately. Or in the case of monsters like Baroth and Basarios, their exterior is physically too hard. They are made of rocks! I have no jackhammerless way of damaging them. So that's about half the roster of Rise already knocked out that will not be knocked out by me. Going back down to the lowest tier and working our way up, monsters I could defeat with my bare hands. Honestly, none of them. If you woke me up and said, hey, you're fighting Nargacuga in 5 minutes, I'd lose! I'd die in an instant! There is one exception, and that's small monsters, who no one really cares about, but all of the small monsters, I think I have a 20% chance or greater of winning against them with my bare hands. Like Melnix, that's literally a house cat on 2 legs. Volfango is like a small boar or a big pig. It has one move. Just step to the side like a matador, then kick it a bunch. Bombadgy, you kick it once and it rolls around and then explodes. These are not serious monsters. These are not threats. These are jokers. Next tier. The strength of human beings is our cognitive abilities and our opposable thumbs, enabling us to wield tools. In Monster Hunter, they're not kicking and punching most of the time. They're using swords and bows and big saxophones. Now, I don't have a ton of sword-wielding experience outside of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, but I have played baseball before for 1 season when I was 7 years old and we lost every game. But the next category, which monsters could I potentially beat if I had a baseball bat and was wearing, I don't know, football pads? So if I get clawed in the chest once, it's not an immediate grievous wound, but the armor is light enough where I can still move around in it. The monsters here are your low-level scrub subs you fight early on in the game. The three greats, Great Baggy, Great Roggy, and Greatest Coochie. These three could be tricky if they use their pack tactics with their little minions, but they all have very vulnerable heads. I could beat them. Kulu-Ya-Ku. This stupid ass post-lobotomy piece of garbage. This was the only large monster that almost made it into the bare hands tier, because it's very dumb. Its signature move is throwing a rock at you. Very easy to beat. Akno-san would be like fighting Big Bird from Sesame Street. I could beat up Big Bird from Sesame Street. Arzuros, this dude is a big bear who attacks with bear hugs, so as long as you dodge the hugs and the swipes, it wouldn't be an issue. And Lagambi, that's like a big drifting bunny. It would not be too hard to beat up the big bunny. Next tier. Now I live in the greatest country in the world, America, where civilian access to firearms is surprisingly easy. Like, way easier than you'd think it'd be considering everything. Not to get political. So the next tier, if I had a baseball bat, football pads, and some sort of gun, which monsters could I potentially beat in a fight? Now I know what some of y'all ranged rangers might be thinking. Spaceman, there's already guns in Monster Hunter. First of all, those are bow guns. And second, we already agreed to power scale close to real world believability. This ain't the live action movie, alright? Our bullets somehow don't work on the monsters. How many real animals are bulletproof? Not that many. Bishaten and Blood Orange Bishaten. They throw fruit at you. That's the main attack. Just dodge the fruit. You're a gamer. It's easy. Rakina-Kadaki. It's a big spider. Act like you're the Green Goblin with a gat. Kill that spider. Step on it. You're a Totus. This thing deserves to get shot. Somnicanth and Aurora Somnicanth. Could maybe use my overflowing charisma stat to seduce it and lull it into a false sense of security, then shoot it a bunch. Mizitsune, a member of the Clean gang. It attacks you with bubbles like you're Mr. Clean. Clean up your act. Pookie. I mean, it can fly and shoots poison, but it doesn't do both at the same time most of the time, so when it lands, I can take it out. Volvidon. This guy would be like fighting Knuckles the Echidna, and I don't chuckle. I won't buckle. I can't suckle. Anyways, you dodge the tongue, dodge the paralysis, don't get shit on. Should be pretty easy. Gas Harag is very tall, very threatening, but also very slow most of the time. It would be bad, but it would not be too bad. The Pteranodon, same deal. Very slow as a big round splashy duck. Royal Ludroth, another Clean gang member. I forgot this guy was even in the game at all. They're a big sponge. Clean up your act. Okay, so for the next tier, say I drive a Nissan GTR, as you can see from the footage on screen, it's me driving. Could I bring my car into battle? Now, if we're fighting in the flooded forest, where there's, bugs and shit, my little Nissan is gonna drive through the water about as well as a Tesla Cybertruck drives after a single drop of rain. But if the monsters are in the real world on the highway, Monster Hunter monsters don't dodge your attacks, they rely on their tankiness. So if I can ram the monster at like 80 miles per hour like a Madam Web, survive the crash, hop out of the car, unload a full clip to the monster's mouth or eyeball while it's reeling in pain on the street, then beat it over the head with a baseball bat. This video's getting really violent. Which monsters could I potentially defeat assuming this plan works? The two crabs, Daimyo Hermitar and Shogun Sienitar. As long as you don't drive the car into the hard shell exterior and only drive into the soft squishy interior, it would probably be fine. Barioth and Lunagaron, they're ice monsters, so you don't want to make sure to have your snow tires on for this one, and drive around Barioth's big ice tornadoes. It's like driving through a blizzard is fine. Diablos would be hard for sure. Rough exterior, sharp horns, but the little spindly legs are vulnerable, so if you hit it from the side, take out the legs, knock it over, then you have a chance. Not a good chance, but a chance. Again, we're only going for 20% chance at success here. Nargacuga, similar deal. I mean, it's lower to the ground, but it's squishier. So just aim for the big glowing red eyeballs like it's a Zelda boss and ram it really, really hard. Almadron and Magmadron. You definitely want some dirt tires here, some off-roading tires for these boys. And the thing about all these fire monsters is if the car is next to them and they shoot a fireball at the gasoline tank, it'll explode, doing a ton of damage to the monster. The monsters don't know about chemical reactions. They don't go to college. They're gonna blow themselves up. So Anjanath, both Beetlejuices, Pirate Spider, even Violet Mizitsune with its exploding bubbles, they're all going down due to their own flaming hubris and a Hyundai-induced blaze of glory. S-Penis and Inflamed S-Penis, they start the fight asleep. That's gonna be easy to take them out. They sleep on a job. Regular Rathian and regular Rathalos. Yes, they can fly. Yes, they have poison attacks. Yes, they can shoot fireballs. Yes, they can probably kill me and eat me in a single hit. But they mostly only attack when they're on the ground. So wait until they land, hit them with the car, knock them over, unleash hell. Okay, so here's the full list of every category. Now the real question is, what did I learn from this whole exercise? Not a goddamn thing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Comment below with how many monsters you think you could take out, and today's comment code word is home run. Comment home run if you made it all the way through the video, and that's it. Video's over.